Welcome, everybody. Aloha. This is Lillian's Vegan World with ThinkTech Hawaii, coming to you live from Honolulu. I'm so excited today to have my beautiful, beautiful guest all the way from the Ukraine. However, she is here with us in Hawaii, residing in Hawaii. Welcome to the show, Avrora Gunko.
Hi, thank you so much for invitation.
My pleasure, Avrora. It's so exciting to have someone like you on the show. You're a vegan pro bodybuilder, fitness coach, nutritionist, actress, model, and you have just recently started your own company. That's so exciting. Rather than me tell everyone about you, please do introduce yourself to our viewers.
Yes, I am a professional natural bodybuilder and a fitness coach, and I also do cook healthy vegan meals, and I studied as a nutritionist and as well as a personal trainer.
This is the exciting thing, that you are a vegan on a plant-based diet, obviously, and you build muscle.
Yes, I am vegan almost all my life, actually. I give up eat meat when I was 9 years old, and I was basically something like vegetarian almost all my life, sometimes having some fish. And I got to be completely vegan over 6 years ago.
That's interesting. I actually have quite a few friends from the Ukraine, and none of them are vegan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Um,
not common thing in my country where I was born.
mhm. So I'm interested to know how you became vegan not all those years ago, or how
Yeah.
did you start as a vegetarian?
Yeah, it's actually a funny story because it has nothing to do with something healthy or something about loving animals. It's so funny because I was 9 years old. So of course when you're so young, you don't think about those things usually, especially as I said, I was born in Ukraine, raised in Ukraine, and all my family, it's not only meat eaters, it's I would say meat lovers.
Hmm.
So every day we have meat, and we just got all sick one day. We ate meat. All family got sick next day, like really bad. So probably something was not as good in this specific
Hmm.
meat we got. And you know how you got sick of something and then you don't want to eat it anymore for a long period of time, right? So it's something that happened to me when I was a kid, that I was feeling so bad that next day when maybe not next day, couple days after my mom cooked meat again, even smell of this get me really bad. So I just turned my face off, and then my mom was absolutely strict about that. She even took me to a doctor saying like my kid is abnormal, like I don't know what to do with her. She don't eat anything, in my family it was meaning don't eat anything. If you don't eat meat or dairy or fish, it's like you don't eat anything. So thanks God, the doctor was good enough to say if your kid don't want to eat something, don't push it, right? So thanks God, my mom stopped pushing me. So that's it. Just from that time, everyone was having meat, and I was just having something else, and then no one is questioning it. And maybe when I was about 16, when you already kind of like realize that you kind of do something different than the others, I was like, why I don't eat meat if everyone else eats? And I just tried. I tried a small piece of chicken and I got so sick again. I was so bad. So then I was like, it's something happened with me. It's not normal. So I start research and I find about veganism and then vegetarians. And I was like, oh, so if I don't eat meat and I feel great almost all my life, why should I start? So that's it. And I kind of stay away from meat, but I never like look into deeper questions, right? But then just by growing up and looking around and then educate myself like what's actually happened with the animals, and then like how meat affects your body, and then just living my life, I find a way to understand that that was actually the right choice.
I would say definitely the right choice, and you're absolutely correct in saying that when you become vegan, you go through certain stages, I believe. However you start a vegan diet, it's only going to keep going. You're going to keep learning more and more about the plant-based diet, the way you perceive food, the way you look at food, the way you look at the world in general is definitely going to change. I started off as a vegetarian as well, very similar, just didn't look at meat and think that it looked like food. Then when I became vegan 15 years ago, it was very clear to me that it wasn't just about food or the animals. Then you start thinking about, the planet and what kind of footprint you leave behind. So there's all these positive things that come out of this lifestyle. That's why I'm just so focused and excited to share stories like your own. But one thing, Avrora, that you and I probably get asked the most is, where do you get your protein from?
I honestly hate this question. As a bodybuilder, it's just so funny to hear it almost every day. I mean, twice a day. Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
I'm joking. Yeah. Thank you for asking this question, of course. It's not like I hate to answer on this. It's just obviously, and nowadays is so easy. It's like super easy. You and me was like vegan for a long period of time. So if you ask me, like, let's say at least 10 years ago, I wouldn't say it's so easy as now. Like, even if you don't know anything about nutrition and then don't know what inside of your food, what you eat, it's so easy to get your proteins. Just go into the Whole Foods or any farmer market and buying plant-based whole foods. That's enough. And then a lot of people just misunderstood and think that they need tons of protein in order to survive, which is common mistake. So basically, any person out there who don't looking to grow muscles, who just want to be healthy, if we're talking about female, we need about 1.5 to 2 gram of protein on 1 kilogram of your weight. If you're looking for the male, about 2 to 2.5 gram of protein every day on 1 kilogram of your weight. So if you're going to break it down to, let's say, my weight, like I weigh 52 kilograms, right? So basically I need about 120 gram of protein max. And that's not a lot. Even if I don't kind of trying to hit this number, just by eating normal whole foods, you'll reach there. But what happened with people, they don't even know that they don't need a lot. So I just, by meeting with the clients or by just looking to the research, I find out that people who eat meat sometimes have protein deficiency and that they don't even know. Because we actually, as a vegans, look at that numbers. We trying to think, oh, I have a meal. Do I have enough of protein? Because I don't eat meat. I mean, real meat, right? But people who don't actually care about that, they just, I eat meat, then of course I have enough of protein. I'm not sure about that. Are you sure about that? Because people comes to me as a nutritionist asking like, oh, I want to, let's say, hit my goal and grow some muscles, and I don't know why I stopped. And then they eat meat and they eat dairy. And I'm like, okay, let me see, what do you eat? And I'm like, you're not reaching your proteins. And it's happened every day. So yeah, it's easy.
Well, let's show the viewers what you look like in this first photo. Avrora, this is incredible. You look absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
This was last year. Does it say 2020 there in the background?
Yes, it was the last Olympia. It was in 2020, and the new one. It's a national. I mean, the most likely it's one of the most known bodybuilding shows in the United States. People from all over the world come to this show, and this year it was in Florida, which is not common because of COVID. They move it. It's usually in Las Vegas, and that's my last show from this year. And I don't always look like this. I'm really lean out there. So now I am about 15 pounds more as my stage weight. But I actually like how I look now more.
Hmm. So
Because yeah,
what is the I was going to say what is the training involved to get your body to that stage, that kind of, you know, muscle?
yeah. So first of all, I have to say that I do professionally compete and then like really get into the bodybuilding not a so long time ago, but I was always in fitness. So I was a dancer before. So I danced a lot and I was in acting school. So you used to dance and then move around in acting school. But uh, I got to the gym only about 7 years ago. And I compete for now about 4.5, 5 years. So I'm saying this because I train all this time, even if I don't compete or I do compete, right? So I do train in a gym and I do cardio sometimes to hit my calorie deficit in order to lean out for the show. But no matter if I do have a show and I need to lean out, or I don't have a show and I have a different goals, I do work out. So it's different every month. Sometimes I have a goal to grow some muscle, sometimes not. So I do tend to work out 4 to 5 days a week, depends on my goal about and then of my schedule. But again, I just love to do it, and it's so much fun for me. So I don't push myself as hard.
Yeah, well, you must love it. I mean, 4 to 5 days a week you work out. How many hours each time are you working out?
So workout is typically only 1 hour if you don't count any cardio. If I do cardio, it depends on my goal. If I'm off my season, I don't actually do cardio at all because again, I'm smart. I know how to eat to don't do cardio and don't gain too much weight, right? But I just love to run. Actually, that's my passion. I like to run in the morning, so I do run in the morning sometimes, just because I love it. Not for the purpose of workout. But if I do have, let's say, goal to lean out for a show, yes, my cardio can increase. It depends. It could be 20 minutes. It could be 30 minutes. It can go up to, I would say, 60 minutes. It's the highest number that I would recommend to anyone. Nothing more than 60 minutes of cardio, even if you need to lean out and then you didn't have a lot of time. Because if you do more cardio, you're gonna get more hungry. So what's the point? You anyway you're gonna eat. And then by saying 60 minutes, just for anyone to listen out there, it doesn't mean I'm like a crazy heat cardio for 60 minutes. No, everyone is gonna die. It's just state study cardio usually. So I'm walking on a treadmill or I'm just doing something not as active.
Interesting. I think people are going to be very, very interested to hear your story, Aurora, because most people think that to get to where you looked in that photo that we just saw, your bodybuilding, that muscle that you have. Honestly, I think people are kind of under the impression you do this for hours and hours a day, and you're saying you're not. What do you think about the recovery period or the recovery in regards to eating a plant-based diet while working out? Is it different to eating animal protein?
I would tell you the story because it's hard to tell from my perspective. I didn't eat meat from 9 years old, right? So as for me, I don't remember me eating meat and then see this difference in recovery, right? The only thing I could tell about me is that when I give up dairy, my inflammation comes down. And that's actually really, really good to do if you have inflammation and if you feel bloated, if you don't feel right after your workouts or on your day off after your muscles break down, don't eat dairy. I do check that with my clients often and it's helped. But by recovery, I would tell story of my husband. My husband is not was not vegan when we get married, and he's a surfer. He loves to surf. As you know, it's a lot of energy. And then he was eating meat 2 years when we get married, and then after 2 years, he decided to give up. And I asked him, like, why you did that and how do you feel. So every time when he came back from about 2 hours of surfing, he has to take a nap because he was like, I am tired. And then when he decided to give up and then be completely vegan, he didn't need a nap anymore. His recovery is much better. He hit the workout with me. He go to surf, and then he have an energy to show up and work. And I'm like, how are you doing this? Even I don't have as much energy. And he's like, I don't know. It's just easier now. So yes,
Well,
and even if
yeah.
you're going to look in the research, it shows, a lot of studies shows that recovery is get better if you don't eat meat. And it's just easy to understand if you even look from the nutrition perspective. To break down dairy products or meat proteins, your body uses tons of energy. Much less energy your body used to break down, let's say, broccoli. It's high in fiber, so you're not going to get hungrier, but your body not going to use as much calories to break down those nutrients, which means those calories going to use for energy, right? So I think it's simple.
Avrora, I'm going to send this show to a lot of my friends.
Thank you. Please do.
Because I've been trying to convince them, but maybe you're the one to convince them, and people like my husband. We are going to take a quick break and come back with Avrora Gunko, the vegan pro bodybuilder. So please stay tuned and see you after these messages. Welcome back to Lillian's Vegan World. I'm your host, Lillian Cumic with ThinkTech Hawaii. Today's show is Vegan Pro Bodybuilding, making muscle on a plant-based diet. And speaking about plant-based food, I am also a vegan chef and I am a new publisher of a cookbook, Hawaii, a Vegan Paradise. This cookbook came out just in November of 2020 and is available on Amazon, at Barnes & Nobles, and stores all around Hawaii. So do get your copy and get some vegan cooking into your routine. I'd like to welcome back to the show my beautiful host, Avrora Gunko. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, thank you. And then your book is amazing. I'm still need to get that, but I have to. I saw it on the farmer market and I need to get it.
Thank you. Speaking of products and stuff that you're creating, Avrora, tell us about your business. I would like to show the second slide to our viewers. Vegan Booty Talks. Tell us about this.
Oh, okay. That's a podcast I created, and that was not so far away ago. It was about maybe a year ago, I think. Yeah. So I was always listening to podcasts when I'm driving, when I do my cardio. It's just really easy. You don't need to spend a tons of time because every time when I want to read a book, I just fall asleep, and it's hard nowadays with all this crazy schedule. So then one day I was like, I should start my podcast. So I did, and I got so much feedback and positive feedback, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then on the first place, I was doing it only by myself, but then I don't even think about that. But someone outside asked me, could I show up on your podcast as a guest? And I was like, Oh, really? People actually doing this with the guests? So yes, of course. So Vegan Booty Talks is a podcast available on iTunes, Spotify, or any podcast platform, Pandora. I'm trying to put it everywhere. And it's all about fitness, vegan bodybuilding, about vegan nutrition, about healthy lifestyle, I would say.
Awesome. I did actually listen to a few, and they're great. You're very, very informative.
Thank
I
you.
think
I'm trying.
I think anyone interested in learning the nutrition side as well should definitely head over to your podcast and take a listen. What else are you getting up to, Aurora? Let's take a look at the third slide. Welcome to Everything Bands, a 6-week guide. What's this all about?
Yeah. So when the pandemic hits, a lot of my clients stuck at home, right? As we all do. So I was like, oh my God, I have to create something to be able to people keep working out and get busy at home or anywhere they are. So I came out with this idea to create the home workouts, but people need equipment. And that was a crazy hard to get any equipment at that time. Everything was so expensive or just not available. So I create my bands, Avrora Fitness bands. It's like a resistant bands. And I just build a 6-week program to use with them. Of course, you can use those bands wherever you like. It's just a really good booty band and long resistant bands, which is, I think, the best quality I could possibly get because a lot of the time when I do workouts at home, when pandemic hits, I was just breaking dance almost every day, and I was like getting tired of that. And I just was like, I have to stop this thing happening. And people can injure yourself when you do some exercises and your band is breaking down and it's, smash into your face. That's bad. So I create those bands. And then they also have inspirational signs like, I believe in you, or you can do it, or shut up and train, something like that, to make it fun. And yeah, I put it out there. It's on my website, which is auroraprofit.com. You can go, guys. I make it a really small price to people to be able to afford it because I really did it like honestly from the bottom of my heart to help people out there. And then, to show them that they could work out and reach their goals even without the gym or expensive equipment, even with the pandemic, especially when a pandemic, because you need to take care of your health at this time.
I totally agree. Would you say that people are thinking more about their health since COVID, or do you think the opposite is happening? People are starting to let go and use COVID as an excuse not to get to the gym or not to have time to work out?
I would say I think people get thinking about health more. That's actually like that's my experience with all my clients because when pandemic hit, I was scared that everyone's gonna, give up and then stop praying. And I was like worried. And then my business get even busier because everyone was like, I want to be healthy. I don't want to get COVID. I don't want to die. So I think, yeah. And then in the second hand, I think they just stopped. So people tend to be busy and don't think about health or don't think about anything around. And then they just stop. And then they look around and then what we got, if we don't have your work, what you got? You only got your health, your body, your soul. So you have to take care of this. So I think they actually start to work out more.
So, Aurora, what advice can you give viewers who haven't worked out or stopped working out? What kind of advice would you give them if they want to say, okay, I want to look like you?
Mhm.
That's going to be very difficult, by the way, because you look amazing. But jokes aside, what kind of advice do you give people to
Yeah.
start
Okay.
start
Yeah.
getting out there?
Yeah. First advice I would give to someone is you never need to look like me, and then you don't need to look like anyone else. So honestly, being a nutritionist, being a bodybuilder, the first advice I would say you gotta love yourself in the best shape and the best weight and the best life you right now. Because whatever we're gonna do and then changed, it's all start inside, right? So first of all, you got to accept what you got and then go and do. Just start small. Just go for a 15-minute walk every day. Even small like that will give you a greatest results after a month. And after this month, sign up with a trainer in the gym, or even like buy, if you don't have this availability, go and buy those resistant bands, work out at home. Or just, it depends what you love. I think if you want to just be healthy and then start to change your life, you should choose the activity you like. Do you like swimming? Okay, great. Go for 15 minutes swimming every day. Do you like surfing? Do that. Do you like basketball? Do you like dancing? Like, start with something you like. I love working out. That's why I do this. But it doesn't mean in order you to look like me, which doesn't sounds good, right? To look your best, you need to work out. Because even me being a trainer, if someone doesn't like gym, you don't need to love it. It doesn't mean you need it. You could look great with the dancing, let's say, if you love it. So I think you should just, the people who want to change and then get a healthier lifestyle should start with something they like to do. And then small step, even like this every day, will give you results. So just do this small. Don't start like, this crazy thing. Tomorrow, I'm gonna sign up for gym. I'm gonna work out every day. I'm gonna eat healthy. This is too much. No one is gonna do it. Not either me, not either you. We all sometimes eat something unhealthy. We all sometimes skip workouts. It's okay. Start small,
That's it. I love your your approach. It's really cool, and
Thank
I
you.
think that's very important. Not to put so much pressure on yourself. Like, give yourself a break. And yeah, the same goes with starting a plant-based diet. Start small. If you wake up in the morning and you're used to eating a typical, American breakfast, meat, fish, etc., and suddenly say, "That's it, I'm going vegan," very likely you're going to get stressed out and probably not succeed. So definitely start small. Aurora, I want to ask what kind of food you eat, in
You mean
particular
during
with
the
your
day?
any day, every day.
Okay, yeah. So I actually eat different stuff. Right now, I like to, switch it up. But if you're gonna look in a typical day, what is almost never change is my breakfast, because I just don't have time to create something super crazy usually if it's not a weekend. So typically, on my breakfast, I love oats, and again, I eat them because I love them. So it's not like I push myself to eat something. I love to eat oatmeal in the morning. I like to add the protein in there. I like to add some berries in my oats. And I like to have something sweet in the morning, like a dark chocolate or dates with a hazelnut or almond butter. Typically, my breakfast is usually huge. I eat about 1,000 calories only for breakfast because I wake up hungry and I like to have a nice sweet treats in the morning. If I something like a sweet too, I would like to maybe have an oatmeal cookie in the morning with my oats, but usually it's like that. I tend to eat a lot. So anyone listening out there, don't try to eat my diet. You may gonna gain weight because I just have a really good metabolism by, working on this year by year. I, building my physique, and I could eat much more than a regular, let's say, uh, female my age. So I do have a snack usually between my breakfast and my lunch, which is could be any type of like a high protein, high carb snack, because I usually work out after my breakfast, so I get hungry and I don't want to, wait until lunch. So, for example, my number one for now, is anyone listening out there and hate tofu? You should try that. So, I do take tofu, 3 oz of tofu. I crumble it. I add vegan cream cheese or vegan coconut cream, any type of creamy stuff. I mix it together. I add stevia or any type of sweetener you like. I mean, you can add sugar, but why we need sugar? We don't, right? So you could add any jam or any type of um, syrup or maybe agave agave and mix it together, top it with granola or wherever you like. And then boom, It's about 2 minutes. And then you have something between cottage cheese and then like a dessert, tasting like a cheesy, creamy dessert. And it's so
Yes.
healthy. Because if you're
Yeah,
gonna
you
look at
disguised it
nutrition,
well. You
yeah,
disguised
if
the
you're gonna
tofu well.
yeah, especially if you're gonna take high protein tofu, it's gonna be even like high in proteins, which is amazing. So that's kind of like my snack for now, but it's changing sometimes.
Hmm.
For the lunch, I like to have some grains. It could be any grains, rice, buckwheat, quinoa, a lot of veggies and grains, and some type of meat, vegan meat. I would say I do cook my vegan seitan, my homemade vegan seitan. I love it. But if I don't have it available on hand, it could be tofu, it could be any type of vegan sausages, which is you can buy in the market, which is I don't love to eat every day. But if I don't have time, and I don't have my seitan available, which is I like to cook, it's fine. I could eat that. What else? Basically, after this small snack, I could have before dinner. And on dinner, again, high protein meal with a lot of greens. On dinner, I don't like to eat a lot. I'm not usually hungry. So I more likely have a salad for dinner with a lot of vegetables. I like to add some dry fruits, nuts in my salad, like almonds or hazelnuts. And I top it all with only homemade cream cheese or just orange juice or maybe a little bit of olive oil. And that's basically it. But as far as now, I'm not on the prep on my competition. I'm off season. So I do switch it up a lot. If I have my prep time and I am really close to the show, I would be much simple. But that's
Hmm.
basically it.
Interesting. I'm curious, Aurora, do you eat out in restaurants?
Yeah, sometimes. Again, as I said, I'm off my season, so I like to go out and try something new. And then it's not a lot of places here on Hawaii, which is completely vegan. But if I see something like, oh, I gotta try it, so I go and I do it sometimes. When I off my season, of course, when I don't need to count my macronutrients exactly, right? Which is I
Mhm.
do now. I would say at this time I go out almost every week, at least once because everything is open finally on Hawaii, so we could try it out. And as a
Yes.
nutritionist, I just love to go to the restaurant and I love to see what they have and then kind of give them some suggestions because unfortunately, a lot of vegan places on the island, but not a lot of them looking into the macronutrients perspective of the vegan meal. They almost all lacking on protein. You come right there and they have a lot of veggies and greens and carbs, but I'm eating all of this and I'm like, I'm still hungry. Why? So a lot of people out there who think they hungry just because they want to eat like crazy.
Mhm.
No, you're probably hungry because you don't have enough of protein into your meal because
Mhm.
that's gonna fill you up.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, it's really sad when you go to a restaurant and you order a salad as a vegan and it's just lettuce, just leaves and a dressing. I
Yeah,
mean, that
yeah, it's
unfortunately
so sad.
happens a lot. Yeah. Last question, Aurora, do you drink alcohol?
Sometimes again, when I off my prep, when I'm not in competition season, yes, as a normal people, I like to drink sometime. I'm still struggle to, give up it completely because I
Mhm.
don't like to do it. But sometimes I can have a glass or two of wine. This is my number one wine. I don't actually drink anything else, but I don't do it in a health perspective. Some people say, "Oh, I drink wine because it's given it." Its study shows that one glass of red wine is healthy. Blah blah blah. I'm like, stop it. First of all, no one is stopped after one glass usually. And the second thing is you have to see what type of wine you drink, or even if it's not wine. So as a vegan, I know now. Actually, I didn't know that. Let's say 3 years ago. Yeah, not all wine is vegan. Not all alcohol is completely vegan.
Mhm.
So it's not easy for me to drink sometimes.
I know, but it's hard because when you're in Hawaii, it's paradise and cocktail time is so cool. And, you know, catching a sunset with a glass of wine is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Avrora, we have come to the end of the show, and I want to thank you so much for coming on and giving us your insight into
thank you.
protein. And, you know, it really does make me believe that the plant-based diet is something that really can be achieved. Anyone can do it, and you can build muscle at the same time. So do check out Avrora if you want to get in touch with her. How do we get in touch with you?
So yeah, you can go to my website, which is auroraprofit.com, and you can sign up for the absolutely free, I do it no charge assessment, 30 minutes call, where I could tell what I think, how you can reach your goal, and then you can tell me what struggle you got. And even if you don't want to sign up with me, I do these free consultations for people who interested to reach their goals. And even if you're not
Fantastic.
vegan, yeah.
Fantastic. So do reach out to Aurora. Thank you again for coming on as guest today. It was awesome talking to you. And to the viewers, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thank you for joining in for Lillian's Vegan World with ThinkTech Hawaii. See you next time, and aloha.